John and Amy Thompson faced an unfair fight when their simple act of patriotism, hanging an American flag, was met with harsh fines and threats from the HOA. Karen, the cold and controlling HOA representative, seemed determined to crush their spirit for reasons that went far beyond rules. But when John revealed his reserve police uniform, everything changed in a shocking moment that left Karen powerless. Just wait until you hear how this intense clash ended with justice restored and a community standing united. John and Amy Thompson had just settled into their new home in a peaceful suburban neighborhood nestled in the heart of Arizona. After months of searching, this quiet street lined with neat houses and manicured lawns felt like the perfect place to start fresh, a place where they could build memories and belong. Amy, proud of her country and eager to show her patriotism, carefully unfolded the large American flag she had brought with her. With gentle hands, she attached it to the porch post, stepping back to admire how it waved gracefully in the warm desert breeze. To her, that flag wasn't just cloth and stars. It was a symbol of hope, freedom, and everything they believed in. But before the flag could fully catch the wind, there was a sudden sharp knock at the front door. Amy's smile faded as she glanced toward the entrance. There stood Karen, the community's HOA representative. She was a woman in her late 40s, impeccably dressed in a crisp, tailored dress that seemed to scream authority. Her piercing eyes locked onto Amy with a cold, unyielding stare. There was no warmth in her expression, only rigid rules and a hint of disdain. Without offering a greeting or any small talk, Karen extended a neatly folded piece of paper. Amy hesitated, then took it with a confused frown. It was a violation notice. According to Karen, displaying the flag was against the neighborhood's strict community guidelines. The paper warned that unless the flag was taken down immediately, Amy could face escalating fines, penalties that could quickly add up. Amy's heart sank. How could something so simple, so meaningful, be seen as a problem? She looked back at the flag fluttering proudly, the symbol of freedom and pride, now somehow tangled in a web of rules and restrictions. John, standing behind her, felt a chill run down his spine. This unexpected confrontation hit him hard. It wasn't just about a flag. It was about being told what they could and couldn't do in what was supposed to be their own home. The air between them crackled with tension. John's initial shock turned into a quiet but growing sense of unease. He knew this was only the beginning of something much bigger. Day after day, the conflict grew worse. Karen returned repeatedly, each time armed with a fresh excuse to demand the flag come down. "It ruins the neighborhood aesthetic," she insisted, folding her arms tightly as if her opinion was law. "It violates the HOA covenants. Some residents might find it offensive." Each reason felt more absurd than the last, but Karen delivered them with the cold, unwavering certainty of someone who truly believed she was above question or challenge. Amy felt like she was trapped in a maze of petty bureaucracy, where compassion was nowhere to be found, and the rules were twisted to serve narrow, inflexible interests. With every new visit, Amy's spirit sank a little further under the weight of Karen's relentless demands. What was meant to be a warm symbol of unity and pride had somehow become a target for cold control. It felt less like a community and more like a cage. John watched all of this unfold with growing frustration and disbelief. It didn't take long for him and Amy to see the truth beneath Karen's rigid enforcement. This wasn't just about rules or neighborhood guidelines. Karen was wielding her position like a weapon, enjoying the power it gave her over others. Her smugness, her rigid attitude, her unwillingness to listen, it all revealed something deeper. Karen was not simply enforcing policy. She was asserting dominance, using the system to bully and intimidate those who didn't bow to her control. The sense of injustice settled heavily over John and Amy. They weren't just fighting over a flag anymore. They were fighting against a system that crushed the everyday hopes and freedoms of ordinary people, a system that rewarded those who ruled with an iron fist. With every confrontation, their anger intensified. They hated what Karen represented, the callous face of oppression hiding behind paperwork and rules, the personification of the barriers keeping them from simply living their lives with dignity and respect. Their resolve hardened. This battle wasn't just about a flag. It was about standing up against the small but suffocating injustices that so often go unnoticed until they hit too close to home. One quiet evening, as the sun began to set and paint the sky with soft hues of orange, Karen appeared once more at John and Amy's doorstep. This time, her expression was colder than ever, and in her hand was yet another notice threatening fines if the flag wasn't taken down immediately. But this time, John was ready. He opened the door, standing tall in his reserve police uniform. The dark navy fabric bore patches and insignia that told the story of years of service. Years spent protecting and standing up for what's right. To John, that uniform was more than just clothing. It was a symbol of honor, responsibility, and strength. Karen's usual confident, unyielding demeanor faltered the moment her eyes landed on John. A flicker of something, fear, panic, maybe even regret, washed over her face. Her lips parted as if to say something, but no words came out. Instead, her knees buckled and she staggered backward, collapsing into the nearest chair. Amy rushed to her side, worry mixing with surprise. John stayed calm, his voice steady and firm as he gently inquired if she was all right. As it turned out, Karen carried a deep, hidden burden, a troubled past that involved law enforcement in ways no one had guessed. The sight of John in uniform had triggered a sudden, overwhelming panic she couldn't control. Once Karen recovered, John calmly explained that they weren't breaking any laws by displaying the flag. He made it clear that while they respected the community, they would also stand firm and defend their rights if necessary. Karen sat there, stunned and speechless, caught completely off guard by their unexpected strength. The power dynamic had shifted. No longer was Karen the unchallenged enforcer. In that moment, the Thompsons showed that beneath the surface of quiet neighborhood disputes, there was courage and resilience ready to face any challenge. The encounter left everyone unsettled, but marked a turning point. What had once been a simple clash over a flag was now a fight for dignity and respect, and John and Amy were ready to meet it head-on. After that unforgettable evening, the atmosphere in the neighborhood began to change. Karen, who had been so relentless and intimidating, suddenly retreated. The once frequent visits stopped entirely. It was clear she realized the fight with John and Amy wasn't worth the trouble, or maybe she simply recognized the limits of her authority. In the weeks that followed, the Homeowners Association revisited the rules that had caused so much tension. They dropped the fines and threats related to displaying the American flag, acknowledging the importance of respecting personal freedoms within the community. This was a victory not just for John and Amy, but for everyone who believed in standing up against unnecessary control. Neighbors who had quietly endured Karen's harsh enforcement began to find their voices. Inspired by the Thompsons' courage and dignity, more and more residents spoke out against the petty rules and the heavy-handed tactics that had made the neighborhood feel less like home and more like a place of restrictions. With the new sense of support and unity, John and Amy finally displayed their flag freely and without fear. The flag, once a source of conflict, now fluttered proudly in the breeze, a beacon of their resilience and the community's return to respect and harmony. Karen gradually faded from their lives, no longer the looming figure of injustice, but a distant memory. The neighborhood, once shadowed by tension and rules that divided, found peace and mutual respect again. In the end, what started as a small symbol of pride became the catalyst for change, a reminder that standing up for one's rights with calm strength can restore justice and bring a community together.